The external debt comprises four cornerstone characteristics that constitute its essence, which are residence, outstanding and actual current liabilities, current and not contingent liabilities, and payment of principal and/or interest. To qualify as external debt, the debt liabilities must be owed by a resident to a non-resident. Residence is not determined by the nationality, but by where the debtor and the creditor have their center of predominant economic interest, or typically where they are ordinarily located. External debt includes outstanding and actual current liabilities. For a liability to be included in external debt, it must exist and be outstanding. This is exemplified by whether a creditor owns a claim on the debtor, or in other words, a debtor has a liability to a creditor. A debt liability is typically established through the provision by the creditor of an economic value to the debtor. The economic value could be in the form of a financial asset, good, service, or income. For instance, Company A, resident of Country A, sold construction equipment to Company B, resident of Country B. The equipment was delivered in period T. Company B will pay for the equipment in the period T+1. Consequently, because the payment for the equipment is not made in period T, an existing debt liability of Company B to Company A is established in that period in the amount of the value of the equipment. This debt liability should be accounted for in the external debt of Country B. In the same period T, Company B received a loan from Bank C, resident of Country A. As a result, Company B incurs another existing debt liability in the form of a loan. Consequently, this debt liability is also included in Country B's external debt. For a liability to be included in external debt, it should be current and not contingent. Contingent liabilities are not included in the definition of external debt. Contingent liabilities are defined as arrangements where one or more conditions must be fulfilled before a financial transaction takes place. Such liabilities may involve a legal contract specifying that one party is obliged to provide a payment or series of payments to another unit only if certain specified conditions prevail. Let's assume that in the previous example, Bank C only committed in period T to provide the loan to Company B, but the loan will be disbursed in period T+1. Consequently, in period T, no liability would be included in Country B's external debt because the commitment does not result in an existing liability until the funds are actually disbursed by Bank C. The liability included in external debt requires payment of principal and/or interest. The amount the debtor owes to the creditor is known as the principal amount. The provision of economic value by the creditor or the creation of debt liabilities through other means may require payment for the use of this economic value. This is known as interest cost for the debtor. When this cost is paid, it is known as an interest payment. All other payments by the debtor to the creditor that reduce the principal outstanding amount are known as principal payments. The definition of external debt does not distinguish whether it is required to repay principal or interest or both. For instance, interest-free loans are debt instruments, although they require only the repayment of principal and no interest is paid. Further, perpetual bonds are debt instruments, although they require only the payment of interest and no principal is to be repaid.